February of 2022. I'm in Sierra Leone, West Africa, on probably one of the most beautiful beaches I've ever been in my life. And I'm slightly smiling in this photo, but let me tell you, this was a painful point in my life where I just wasn't making any fucking gains in the gym. And it was so infuriating because the gym, building muscle, it's my identity, it's my passion, it's something I live and breathe now. So you can imagine how painful that is, and maybe you're going through this as well. And just know it wasn't anything to do with like what's going on inside as such. Like I'm still lean enough that my body would take in nutrients and use it efficiently. That's not the issue. We've not got too fat on the bulk where you need to cut down. Now, just for a bit of context, I started out July 2020, and this was the starting point. So for sure, we made some gains over this point, but then it really did start to slow down. And it was painful. It was really painful. And there's an answer to every problem, and that's literally the motto of the Gorilla Platoon. You may be thinking why you should listen to me, and you're right in thinking that 1 minute into this video, but my name is Tom Sergey. I run the Gorilla Platoon, which is the little brand logo you can see here, and this is what we do. We turn fucking your average looking guys and make them look like fucking killers. And just for context, this is my physique now as of April, well, this is last month, so April 2024. So I've got a bit of proof to show why you should listen to me in the rest of this video, because there is something you are doing which is holding you back from making gains. It is specifically to do with the gym. It's not to do with your nutrition, and we're going to go into it and fix it there. What we're going to do is we're going to watch a typical working set that I was doing around that time. Now, as you look at this here, so this is an EZ bar bicep curl. You know roughly the weight of an EZ bar, and you can see I've got 15 kilos on each side. Let's just watch this set. So, teeth come out. The video is a little bit glitchy. You can see it now. Okay. Now, just pay attention carefully. Look in and around this upper region as the video is going on, because I'm going to ask you some questions on it in a minute. Apologies for the glitchiness. I've never known an iPhone video not to play so well. Okay, so as you looked at that set, it's got load, it's got intensity, hasn't it? And maybe the technique wasn't so bad. Like, you probably looked at that and thought, like, yeah, some of the reps, it's heavy weight. Of course, there's going to be a bit of movement. But you probably looked at that and thought, yeah, it's not too bad. It's not too dissimilar to how I would be training. And if you pictured the way that set was executed and imagine that over all of your exercises, you may be thinking, well, what's the problem here? Now, the analogy I'm going to use is, the way that set actually is in reality is, imagine you go for a massage and you tell the masseuse, I have a knot in my upper left trap. And she starts massaging you in just below your shoulder blade on the right hand side of your back, but she does it really hard with loads of effort. And you're like, no, you're not hitting the spot. Like, don't get me wrong, I can feel it everywhere, but you're not really hitting the spot. Or imagine you go to cut your grass with your lawnmower, and you keep missing said bit of grass, and you cut around it, and you go around it, and then you finish at the end, and you're like, oh, there's still some fucking long grass there. It's like, yeah, no shit. Because you still put effort in, you still burn energy, you still got tired, you still got a global fatigue, for a better word, but you didn't pinpoint the actual load, the effort onto the working muscle. Now, and I'm not saying you're doing complete cheat reps. There's a difference between absolutely hoying shit around with zero technique and control. Like, I don't believe you do that. I think you've got a little bit of structure and control, but I don't think you're going one better and putting just all the tension on the working muscle. That's the problem we have here. So the goal is to put all of the tension onto the working muscle, because imagine a light bulb. Light bulbs, when you buy them, they say like 97% energy efficient, 92% energy efficient. And at the minute, you're probably training at like 70% energy efficient, which means all the power, imagine, that goes to this light, obviously some of it is wasted and it gets given off as like fucking heat or some shit. You're doing the same, where you're training the working muscle, but you're also training in and around it, so you're getting a global effort of energy that's burnt, and it feels like you've worked it, but you've just not put all the tension onto the working muscle, and that is honestly the main reason why you won't be making gains, especially in specific muscle groups. So what's the process here? How do we fix this and figure it out? Well, I want you to try and just go a little bit deeper when you're doing your training. So think of the muscle group you're trying to train, okay? Go a little bit deeper and just think, well, where does it start and where does it finish? Like, if you looked at a muscle, like I've called it origin insertion because that's the fancy term for it, but realistically, where does this muscle start? If you've got your arm like this, okay, and you've got the bicep, it attaches on here, and then it attaches on here. You're like, okay, cool. If it starts here and ends here, I need to close this together. A better analogy actually is when you're doing a pec fly for your chest. Where does your chest start and where does it finish? Starts on your sternum bone. Let's go and draw on this guy. So your chest starts here and it inserts onto your humerus like this. Okay, so now if you're doing a pec fly, the smartest thing for you to do is obviously bring the origin and the insertion together. So when you do the pec fly and you're in this position here and you're going to come back in, don't think about, I know you can't see my hands, but don't think about pushing your hands together. Think about just pushing your upper arms together and you'll get that shortening of the pec. As a result, your arms will follow and end up here anyway. But if you squeeze from the hands, what will happen is you'll go like this, and you'll crunch from your shoulders because everything will try and take over. Global effort. You don't want global effort. You don't want a massage for the lower portion of your back. You want the massage in the upper portion of your trap. So you need to pinpoint it. So how would you do that with this? You would drive your biceps or the upper portion of your arms to move first. As they move, you notice now how the muscle starts to contract. You need to have that mindset with every form of lift you're doing. If you can stabilize the back of your arm to do a bicep curl, guess what? When you do that bicep curl, all the tension is going to be on the bicep because there's nowhere else for it to go. You've harnessed the energy and made it channel into one route. Just like if we had a 100% efficient light bulb, which I'm sure some clever bastard will come up with, then no energy would be wasted. It would all come out. So you need just try and think of every exercise you do like that. Where does it start? Where does it finish? I just need to close those 2 points together. And what would be the most efficient way to do so? Another example would be when you train your lats. So your lats start by let's get a picture up. So we've got your lats, or my lats in this example. Now, so the same principle would apply. The lats start down here, and then they insert here onto the humerus, the upper arm. So when we're training our lats, we need to think, well, how can we get these 2 points shortest together in the most convenient way? Because ultimately, that's what's going to be able to allow you to challenge a working muscle. Let me just show you a quick exercise for that. What you could do is set yourself up underneath a single cable stack with one handle. Now, as you look here, imagine where that image was, where the lats start and finish, you're shortening those 2 points together. You're pinpointing, you're being accurate with the way you're performing each rep. Obviously, you're going to do it slow. You're going to slow the reps down. We've spoke about that many times on this channel. And if this is the first video you're watching, tempo is everything. Look at the speed that you're performing the rep in. Slow, 3, 2, 1. Look where no movement is going. I'm not leaning back because I've supported with the front arm. I'm not swinging around. The only thing that is moving is my upper arm is going down towards my hip. I'm shortening the 2 points together. And if you can execute each movement like that, you don't need to go light. Like fucking right, you need to train with intensity. That's what was right and what you're probably doing in the video. But you're just missing the point, or you're missing the muscle. You're just not hitting the target. And if you're not hitting the target's not going to grow in this analogy. So honestly, if you fix that, if you start hitting the fucking target with intensity, with intent, you will make gains. It's a fact. You're abusing that singular muscle with the load that you're doing. So that honestly is the biggest like saver as to why I then made the gains again. I hope this really does help you. If it does, subscribe to the channel and you'll see more coming in the future.